Every one of you, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what your home life looks like, no matter what friends you have or don't have, every one of you matters. Every one of you has worth. And the challenge is seeing it, even if nobody else does. Because in order to love other people, you have to love yourself first. In order to love yourself, you have to know yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Okay, it's fundamental to life. And I'll tell you a story about how I came to find it. So for me, it's going to sound a little weird, right? My high school experience was not like everybody else's. And I know that, okay? To give you an idea of this, I want you to think of the most cliche high school movie you can. And I was that quarterback, okay? I played football all the way from when I was a kid, so by the time I got to high school, I was 6'1", 170. I ran a 4.3 40, which if you don't know how fast it is, it's fast, okay? I had a 40-inch vertical. My future was football. And high school for me was my domain. To give you an idea of how much it was, you have people here from all over the county, correct? Yeah? District. Okay, thank you. So, any of you planning to go to prom? Yeah? How many times can you go to prom? One time? Twice? Junior, senior? What if you're asked by a junior or senior when you're a freshman or sophomore? You can go? So potentially 4? You know how many times I went to prom? All right, let's do this. I got how about this? Focus. How many times did I go to prom? I need the right number.
0.
How many? 5?
0.
0? 3? 6? 1?
7.
Who said 9? 9. I went to prom 9 times. 9 times. 4 times at my own school and 5 times at other schools. Okay? I ruled my county. Everybody knew me. And I know how that sounds, but it did, okay? Yeah, a lot of money too. So, sophomore year, let me tell you this, okay? Sophomore year of high school, I'm in my element. I'm loving it, right? Freshman year is over. I killed it freshman year. Sophomore year's coming, and I finished that, and I'm 16 years old, and my family at the time owned a lawn care and landscaping company. So I started working when I was 12 years old, mowing lawns with my dad and doing landscaping. That's just what we did in the summer. So one morning, after an early morning football workout, I go help my dad to go load up the equipment for the day to go mow some lawns. That morning in particular, as my dad was pulling the trailer out of the storage unit on the way out, I stepped back so I could get out of the way, and when I did, I slipped on sandbags. And I ended up falling on the wheels of the trailer as it pulled me out of the storage unit. My head was above the wheels, and my chest was pinned to the wheels, and my back on the wall as it pulled me out. And after it did, I dropped. Instantly. Ah! My dad gets out of the truck. What happened? What happened? Right? And I said, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. He calls the ambulance, and the ambulance comes. Now, have you ever ridden in an ambulance? They are not comfortable. So here I am later finding out that I have a broken back, and I'm riding in this bumpy ambulance all the way there, right? It wasn't pleasant. So I get to the hospital, and they run every test you can imagine. CAT scan, CT, MRI, X-ray, you name it, they ran it, okay? The verdict is that I was paralyzed from the waist down. I remember laying on a cold metal table, seeing doctors and nurses above me, and then all I remember is it's black. And I wake up the next morning, and I'm sitting in bed, and I see people around me, and I go, all right, what happened? Right? And I notice at that moment that I can't feel my legs. And I'm like, maybe they just fell asleep. I've been laying for too long. So I try to wiggle my toes. I try to move them. Nothing. It's dead. So doctors tell me that when I had my injury, the brick pressed up against my spine and it ended up shattering my entire spine from my armpits down to my hips, with the L5, where my hips are, bursting into my spinal column, paralyzing me. Now, first few days, sure, I had people visit. Oh man, we're so sorry to hear what happened. Hope you get okay. How are things going? Now the reality, any of you ever been through a tragedy in your life that rocked you to the core? The next few days after, if you get support, that's when you get support. The loneliest time in a person's life after a trial is not immediately after. It's when life turns back to normal for everybody else, but not for you. That's when it's lonely. So here I'm in the hospital bed, right? And I spent the next 6 months in the hospital. I had to go through physical therapy, learn how to walk again, doctors, surgeries, you name it. I missed my entire junior year of high school because of that. So I get home from the hospital, right? And I start to go through it. And then I went through a year of PTSD treatment and did therapy for that, right? Now, obviously you can see that's not how the story ends, right? But we'll get there right quick. So, I just introduced to you that I had the world at my fingertips prior to, right? During that year that I missed of my junior year, any idea how many people came to visit me? Okay. 3. 3 people. You think, right? But 3 out of 9 proms. Where were those girls? Why'd they leave me then, right? 3 people. And those 3 people are my best friends to this day still, because in the moment, it wasn't my label. It wasn't what I could give them. It wasn't how popular I was. They saw me as a person, right? An individual. Now, paralysis is one thing, but then what came after was the hardest part. Because when your entire identity is wrapped up in the status socially of what people think of you, and it's immediately taken, I had no idea who I was anymore. It was gone instantly. The popular, charismatic, amazing person that I thought I was instantly taken away because I thought my value was taken. So then after that comes the phone calls. Hey, Mr. Meyer, this is Coach so-and-so. Yeah, I heard about your accident. Your coach called us. Sorry to hear about that. Unfortunately, your scholarship was dependent on you to be able to play football. And if you can't do that, we can't really offer you a scholarship, and you don't have the grades for an academic scholarship. Oh, okay. Thanks, Coach. Let us know if it changes. All right. Okay. Thanks. So, Arizona State, Colorado State, Nebraska, Texas, Cal, Stanford. One by one. Now, I told you football was my thing, right? It was my future. And I didn't care how my grades looked or how I performed in the classroom as long as I got that scholarship until it was gone. So what do you do when the thing that you're banking on the most for your future gets taken from you? Remember, if we go back to our chart, how much of our percentage of happiness is dictated by our environment and choice? 10% environment and 40% choice, right? So now, my popularity's gone, my legs are gone, my future's gone, and everything that I knew about myself and who I was is now gone too. And it got dark. Laying in a bed in the front room of my house, not able to move, my mom having to wake up at 2 a.m. and carry me to the toilet because I couldn't get there myself. And it got dark. And I'm sure some of you can relate to what it feels like when you get dark and hopeless and lost. You start to wonder if it's worth going on anymore. That's why that hope matters so much. Because no matter how dark it gets, hope is always there. And it's there by the people around you, okay?